Today we will talk about order of operations that involve fractions and mixed numbers. Now, if you remember the order of operations, it has the mnemonic device that says, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. The problem with that mnemonic is a lot of people go, okay, well, my dear is kind of implies that my comes before dear, but you have to understand that they don't. My dear and Aunt Sally, they weigh the same. So in other words, please stands for parentheses or any kind of grouping symbol like absolute value, braces, parentheses, brackets. Exponents are the ones that have like 2 to the third power, 2 times 2 times 2 to the fourth power, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 2. So you have to do those next. Then, so we did please excuse. My dear. Okay, my dear, when you see the multiplication division, you have to do them from left to right. So here's Aunt Sally looking at us. And for Aunt Sally, addition, subtraction, you have to do them from left to right as well. Okay? So it doesn't mean that you have to do multiplication before division, or it doesn't mean you have to do addition before subtraction. They weigh the same amount of importance. So let's do the my dear portion, multiplication division. Let's say I have some like this. 2/3 times 1/3 divided by 2/3. Okay? And that means you are going to do them left to right. And let's look at this. 2/3 times 1/3 is 2/9 divided by 2/3. How did we do fraction division? You go 2/9 and multiply by the reciprocal, 3/2. 2's go. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So you end up with 1/3. Now let's do a multiplication division drill still. My dear. So let's say I have this situation. 2/3 divided by 1/3 times 2/3. How does that work? Now, even though it says my dear, you don't go and you multiply first. Okay, you cannot do that. So you have to do them from left to right. 2/3 divided by 1/3. What is that? 2/3 divided by 1/3 is simply 2/3 times 3/1. 3's go simply means 2. Now the next step is you're going to take the 2 and multiply by 2/3. What's that mean? You're going to multiply 2/1 times 2/3. 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 3 is 3. You can go back to the mixed number, 1 and 1/3. All right, let's do an addition subtraction problem. All right, let's say I have this situation. 1/4 minus 2/5 plus 1/2. All right, how do I do that problem? Now, it doesn't mean that I have to do the addition first and then subtraction. It doesn't mean that. You can choose to do that, but I recommend you just do them from left to right. So let's do 1/4 minus 2/5. What's that mean? So this is times 5 times 5 times 4 times 4. Now you're going to have something above your heads. 5/20 minus 8/20. And you didn't learn how to subtract negative numbers from positive numbers when the negative number is bigger. So I will go one more step. 1/2. Let's make this 10/20. You know, after all, I'll do that thing. So you can go and pick and choose in addition subtraction thing. You can actually add the positives and then subtract the negatives later. 10 plus 5 is 15 over 20 minus 8 over 20, which is going to give you 15 minus 8, 7 over 20. Okay? Now let's kind of mix match. Let's review a couple of exponents. When you see it like this, it means 1/4 times 1/4, which ends up being this. Okay? Let's do this one. 3/4 squared. That means 3/4 times 3/4. That means 9 over 16. How about this one? 3 over 4 squared. So be careful. It doesn't mean 3/4 times 3/4. It means 3 over 4 times 4, which is 3 over 16. Right? Now, let's also do the exponent of 0. 2/3 to the 0th power. When you have sum to the 0th power, if that something is not 0, it's always equal to 1. But be careful. If you have the 0 next to this, what does that mean? You have that means that 0 belongs to 2. 2 to the 0th power is 1. That means this is 1/3. Or you may also have it like this. 2 over 3 to the 0th power. What's that mean? 2 over 3 to the 0th power is 1, which is 2. Well, let's have an example where I will do a couple of things all at once. 2 times, you have parentheses, and a subtraction, an addition, and a subtraction. So let's do that problem. I'm going to have to do the parentheses first. 2/3 minus 1/3, that is 1/3. So you have 2 times 1/3, which is 2/3. So this whole thing is going to end up being 2/3. Plus 1/6 minus 2/3. Yes, you can do from left to right. Add first and then subtract. But in terms of addition, subtraction, if you see something so blatantly in front of your nose, just do that first. 2/3 minus 2/3, that is 0, and you end up with 1/6. And you can also write it like that. Well, let's do an example where I'm going to have, again, exponents, and I'm going to try to do a couple of things at once. All right, so let's try this problem. 2/3 square plus 1/4 to the 0th power plus 2. Let's multiply this. 3 plus 1/4 minus 1/8. Okay, how does that work? Let's do the parentheses first. 3 plus 1/4 means 3 and 1/4. And I'm supposed to get 1/8 from it. So when I do that, I multiply these two by 2. So you're going to have 3 and 2/8. And you're taking away 1/8. And you're going to end up with 3 and 1/8. Now, let's look at my exponents. I'm supposed to multiply 3 and 1/8 by 2. I'll do that later, but let's look at 2/3 squared. So that's 2/3 times 2/3, and that's going to be 4/9. And this one is 1/4 to the 0th power, that is 1. So let's go put that together. So you have 1 and then 4/9, and then you're supposed to have 3 and 1/8. So let's write that. 4/9. You're supposed to add 1, and you're supposed to take 2 and multiply with 3 and 1/8. What does that mean? Okay? I know that 1 and 4/9 means 1 and 4/9 this way. This means I need to go and multiply. 3 and 1/8 is 3 times 8, 24, plus 1, 25/8. And then I'm multiplying it by 2. I can do that and get 1 4/9 plus 25/4. Well, 25/4 means 1 4/9. I have 6 times 4, 24. 6 times 4 is 24, and then 25. So I'm supposed to add 1 4/9 and 6 1/4 at the very end. So let's go 4 and 4. Let's go 9 and 9. What do we have? 4 and 16, 36. 6 and 9, 36. 9 plus 16 is 25. 6 plus 1, 7. So the answer is 7 and 25/36. So you can go back and forth between modes. Let's do a couple of these. Let's say I have 3 1/4 to the second power, and I'm supposed to multiply 1 1/4 and divide the whole thing by 3. Okay? So how do I do this problem? Do the exponent first, and to be able to do the exponent, multiply it. 3 times 4, 12 plus 1, 13. So you have 13/4 squared times 1/4, and the whole thing is 3/1. 13 times 13 is 169. 4 times 4 is 16. So let's go multiply. I have 169 divided by 16 times 4. That's 64. And now you're supposed to multiply this by 1/3. What are you going to end up having? 169 on top, and you're going to have 192 at the bottom, and you're done.